You're doing everything right. Praying, reading, trying to believe. But inside, there's a silence you can no longer ignore. It's not doubt. It's worse than that. It's emptiness. And here's what terrifies you most. You think God left. But it's not that God left. It's that something else got so loud, you stopped hearing him. This video won't offer you empty promises or magic formulas, but it will show you exactly what Jesus said about this silence and why he was never frightened by it. As you hear this, ask yourself, what has been making you feel like you're at the edge? Let me guess what you don't say out loud. You wake up, and the first thing you feel is ingratitude. It's weight. As if the day already starts tired before it even begins, you pray. But while the words come out, there's an inner voice saying, nothing's going to change anyway. And you keep praying, because it's what you know how to do. But inside, you're just going through the motions. You read the Bible and the words seem to be in another language, not because you don't understand, but because they don't touch anything anymore. It's as if there's a thick layer between you and what you're reading. And the worst part, you feel guilty for feeling this way. Because you know you should be grateful. You know God is there. You know faith doesn't depend on emotion. You know all of this, but you don't feel it. And there's something no one's talking about, but that you carry alone. The fear that this is permanent, but the fear that you've reached a point of no return, where faith has become just habit, routine, obligation. You keep going, keep trying, but there's a question hammering in your head. What if I never feel again? Have you been calling this strength when it's actually exhaustion? Now, pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, because this might be the most important thing you'll hear today. You can't feel God not because he moved away, and not because you did something wrong, and not because your faith is gone. You can't feel God because you're confusing God's voice with something else, and this something else has been screaming so loud for so long that you think it's the only voice that exists. Let me explain. Most people believe that feeling God means having peace, joy, enthusiasm, clarity, elevated emotions, good sensations. And when that doesn't happen, they conclude God isn't here. But Jesus never said his presence would be felt as emotion. He said it would be heard as truth. And truth isn't loud. It doesn't compete for your attention. It waits. What's been screaming inside you isn't God's silence. It's your mind's noise. Anxiety screaming that something's wrong. Exhaustion screaming that you can't take it anymore. Fear screaming that you're alone. And this noise is so constant, so present, that you started believing it's reality. But it's not. What if God hasn't gone silent, and something else has just been speaking louder? Let's go straight to Jesus' words, because what he said wasn't poetry. It was recalibration. In John 14:27, Jesus said something most people read wrong. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Now, pay attention. Jesus didn't say, you will feel peace. He said, I leave peace. He didn't promise an emotion. He offered a reality. And the difference is enormous, because emotions depend on circumstances. Realities exist independent of what you feel. When Jesus says, do not let your hearts be troubled, he's not saying you'll never feel turmoil. He's saying that turmoil doesn't define reality. You can be feeling chaos and still be at peace, because peace isn't the absence of struggle. It's the presence of truth greater than the struggle. When Jesus said this, who do you think he was speaking to? Two people without problems. Two people who already felt peace. No. He was speaking to people who were about to watch him die. People who were going to enter the greatest emotional chaos of their lives. And it was exactly at that moment that he said, my peace I leave with you. Not after. During. Now comes the second phrase. And this one cuts deep. In Matthew 11:28, Jesus said, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. You've heard this 1,000 times. But have you ever stopped to notice what he didn't say? He didn't say, "Come to me those who are doing well." He didn't say, "Come to me those who can feel something." He said, "Come, the weary, tibudened, those who have no more strength." And what he promises isn't an immediate feeling. He promises rest. And rest doesn't mean the weight disappears. It means you don't carry it alone. What changes if you believe these words are still for you today? Not for a better version of you. For you now. Tired, empty, confused. I want you to imagine a scene with me. A man is walking on a deserted road. It's dark. He's tired. He doesn't know how long he's been walking. He's already tried screaming. Already tried running. Already tried stopping. But nothing changes. The road continues. The darkness continues. And he continues alone. Until he stops. And for the first time, he doesn't try to do anything. He just stops. And in the silence he never wanted to hear, he notices something. He's not alone. Never was. Someone has been walking beside him all along, but he was making so much noise, screaming, running, fighting, that he couldn't notice. When he finally stops, he hears a voice. Not loud, not dramatic. Just present. And the voice says, "I've been here all along. You were just too busy trying to feel me." This story isn't a parable. It's you. You're so busy trying to feel God that you've forgotten to simply be with Him. You're so focused on the emptiness that you haven't noticed the emptiness is just space, and space is an abandonment. It's invitation. Jesus doesn't appear when you produce the right emotion. He's already there when you stop trying to produce it. If you placed yourself in this story, where are you standing right now? Still running? Or beginning to stop? There's another image I want you to see. Think of a small child in their father's lap. The child is tired, crying, frustrated. They don't understand what's happening, but the father doesn't let go. He just holds and waits. The child can scream, can struggle, can think they're alone because they don't feel the lap, but the lap never stopped existing. What Jesus offers you isn't a feeling. It's a lap, and you may not feel it now, but it doesn't let go just because you don't notice. Now, let's get practical, because hearing is important, but transforming is essential. I'm going to teach you something Jesus did all the time, but few notice. He used words to replace thoughts, not to escape reality, but to reveal the real reality. Hello? Give you an example. What's the phrase your mind repeats when you wake up tired? It's probably something like, "I can't take it anymore," or "This won't get better," or "I'm alone in this." These phrases seem true because you feel them, but feeling isn't the same as being true. What is the sentence your mind repeats when things get heavy? Now I want you to do something. You don't need to believe it yet. Just try. Italiano. When that phrase comes, you're not going to fight it. You're not going to pretend you don't feel it. You're just going to place another phrase beside it. Not in its place. Beside it. Your mind's phrase says, "I can't take it anymore." Jesus' phrase in Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, and I will give you rest." You're not denying the exhaustion. You're placing a greater truth alongside the exhaustion. Your mind's phrase says, "I'm alone." Jesus' phrase in Matthew 28:20 says, "I'm with you always." Again, you're not pretending you don't feel alone. You're allowing another truth to exist at the same time. This isn't self-help. This is spiritual reprogramming, that because your mind has been trained for years to repeat lies as if they were facts, and you believed them because you felt them. But Jesus teaches you to do the opposite. Train your mind to repeat truth until it becomes more real than the lie. And this doesn't happen in a day. It happens in daily choices, in conscious repetitions, in replacing, little by little, what screams inside with what he said outside. Is that sentence you repeat? aligned with what Jesus actually said, you don't need to feel different to do this. You just need to choose to repeat truth until it becomes more familiar than the lie. And when you do this, something changes. Not immediately, but eventually. Because you're no longer feeding the noise. You're feeding the voice that matters. I'm going to guide you now. You don't need to do anything complicated. Just listen. And if you want, repeat with me. Take a deep breath. Now, in a low voice or just mentally. Say this. Jesus, I don't know if I can feel you now, but I choose to believe you're here. Don't force emotion. Just let the phrase exist. As you say this, notice what resists inside you and what feels relieved. Now, another phrase. Calmly. I'm tired, and that doesn't mean I failed. It means I'm human. Let that truth land. You're not weak because you're tired. You're human. Ed Jesus never asked you to be more than human. He just asked you to come as you are. Last phrase. This one's the most important. What I feel doesn't define what's real. What Jesus said is what's real. You don't need to feel peace to have peace. You don't need to feel presence to be accompanied. You don't need to feel strength to be sustained. Because all of this has already been given. You just need to accept it exists, even when you don't feel it. Now, just breathe and let these words work. Inside, here's the truth no one tells you. Real transformation doesn't happen when you start feeling different. It happens when you realize your emotions are no longer the measure of reality. You'll keep feeling exhaustion. You'll keep feeling empty sometimes. You'll keep having days where faith seems fragile. But the difference is that this won't define you anymore. Because you'll know, deeply, that what you feel isn't the complete story. Jesus didn't promise you'd never feel pain. He promised pain wouldn't have the last word. He didn't promise you'd always feel him near. He promised he'd be near, regardless of what you feel. And when you understand this, not just intellectually, but deep in your soul, something changes. Not the circumstances, but you. You stop needing the right emotion to have certainty. Because certainty comes from the word, not from feeling. You stop panicking when you don't feel anything. Because you know feeling isn't the thermometer of God's presence. You stop thinking you're failing every time you're tired. Because you understand Jesus called you tired, not perfect. If nothing around you changed yet, what changed inside you just now? It may seem like little, but it's not. Because the biggest change isn't what's seen, it's what's heard. And if you've started hearing a different voice than despair, guilt, emptiness, then something has already begun. I'm going to give you one last push, with love, but firm. You can no longer use your emotions as an excuse not to trust. I know it sounds harsh, but it's true. If you wait to feel before believing, you'll never truly believe. Because feelings change every hour, and faith that depends on feeling isn't faith. It's mood. Jesus didn't ask you to feel right. He asked you to trust right. And trusting doesn't mean having emotional certainty. It means choosing truth, even when emotion screams the opposite. You'll have bad days. Days when nothing seems to make sense. Days where prayer feels like an echo. And on those days, you will have a choice. You can believe what you feel, or you can believe what he said. I'm not asking you to pretend you're okay. I'm telling you that you can be not okay and still be safe, because he doesn't let go, even when you think he's gone. What would it look like to trust his words more than your emotions this week? It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. If this touched something inside you, I want to ask you one thing. Not for me, for you. Write in the comments. He knows me. It's not magic. It's not ritual. It's for your own mind to hear truth again. Because sometimes we need to say it out loud to believe it's real. He knows you. He always has. And he hasn't left. Write it there. He knows me. And let that be the beginning of something new inside you. His peace be with you. Not as the world gives, but as only he can give.